You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. So I've been cleaning up my yard, so all the last year's vegetables are all pulled out. The soil is open. I've added some manure, some fertilizer, kind of getting the soils ready. I pulled last year's annual flowers. They're coming out. Some of the perennials like peonies and your echinaceas, some of these other perennial great summer blooming flowers I've cut back. So cleanup. And so I just thought I'd touch on real quick what happens when a plant goes dormant. What are they doing underneath the ground? This is basic gardening 101, but a lot of these spring blooming plants, it takes tremendous amounts of energy for a forsythia. That's one of the first plants, shrubs, to bloom golden yellow in spring. So usually sometime in March, they're gonna ignite with new growth, new flowers. They always flower first, then get their foliage. It takes a lot of energy to pull that off. Well, some of these plants need to rest in between bloom cycles. This can be hard to you folks from tropical climates. You're used to green. I want it to bloom all year round. I can't believe they take a rest. Well, you can't grow lilac or for Rose of Sharon's or forsythia or peonies in a tropical climate. They like to grow in this 4-season climate. They need a rest period. They need short days, cold nights. They're in stasis. They're growing, but they're not growing very quickly. They're just kind of taking a break, getting their energy ready, and then when they take off in spring, they just ignite with new growth. Now, perennial and annual, what's the difference? And this gets my new customers new to the area. It confuses them some. Number one that confuses them is a red fountain grass. It grows so well in Phoenix, so great in the Palm Springs, the tropical climates. This beautiful red grass, great plumes, gets about hip high, looks great in the landscape, looks great in containers, raised beds, but it's an annual. It does not take the cold. So the top died back like all the other perennial grasses. It died back, but the roots are actually dying now too. So this cold is really permeated and killing off every square inch of this plant. Whereas pampas grass, deer grass, fescues, zebra grass, these are all perennials. They've got the same top growth is kind of brown and straw colored, but the roots are just resting. They're taking the cold. They're fine. They get plenty of antifreeze to protect them. They're going to come back, but they need to rest underneath before they start erupting with brand new growth and then covered in plumes. So if you want to know the difference, take an irrigation flag or a popsicle stick, something where you can mark that plant. Just kind of go, oh, there was a plant here. There's a plant here. There's a plant there. And the ones that come back, those are the perennials. The ones that just never seem to come back from the ground, those were annuals from last year. That can happen with grasses. It can be flowering plants, shrubs. So bougainvillea, that's a famous plant down in Phoenix. That is a hardcore annual here. It will not come back unless you bring it indoors or you cheat it some way or have a greenhouse. But out in the landscape, that is not going to come back. Whereas honeysuckle, it will. Honeysuckle needs to rest a bit. So you see it looks a little rough right now. It's still got some foliage, no flowers really, but honeysuckle is this very fast growing vine that's very easy to care for. Great plant for here. Every yard needs at least one. I mean, honeysuckle is just so robust here. That's the one where as a kid used to pull out the stamen, the stem inside the flower and suck the nectar. It smells very fragrant. That's honeysuckle. That's a perennial. It's going to come back. I know it may look a little rough with some foliage dropping off. I call it semi-deciduous. That is, it'll hold some foliage, but it'll drop some too. Whereas a silver lace vine, a clematis, wisteria, these are all perennials as well, but they truly lose all of their foliage in the winter. They rest underground, and then they're going to come back with fresh new growth, usually in March. You'll see brand new growth coming, and then wisteria starts blooming in April sometime. So just this progression. But plants need to rest. These really fast growers need to rest. Fruit trees. If they didn't get to rest, you would have tiny little putsy apricots, little itty bitty pears. You wouldn't get very many grapes. Berries, you just wouldn't get any. So they need to rest to kind of get their energy back and then take off with new growth again. Pine trees, your evergreens, they're the same way. They grow really fast in spring. They're going to take off here in a couple months. Sometime into February, March, they're going to just ignite with brand new candle growth, this new evergreen. Conifers are things with needles, basically. So these conifers are going to grow, and then you only get one shot at it, and then it starts to solidify. It starts to take that new growth, then it gets thicker. It starts to build up wax over it. So it gets real robust, very drought hardy. It'll take on the heat of summer, and then it just locks in, and that's all you get until the following spring. Right now, they're hibernating, and they're starting to force their new buds or buttons at the very end of their branches from last year. They've got new buttons coming out, and that's going to be the new growth. The bigger you can get that button, or the bigger you can get that new nodule, the more the growth is going to come out. Your fruit trees, the more flower buds, the buds you see up and down that stem, those are flower buds. More than likely, those are flower buds. That's going to be next spring's growth. That's going to be next spring's fruit, whatever that happens to be. So up here in the mountains, we tend to grow apples, pears, apricots, nectarines, cherries, peaches, pluots, and we need late bloomers. So we want things to be late blooming. Fruit trees, if you get a desert variety, it will grow up here, but it blooms too early, and so it's exposed to frost. And so the frost will take the flower. So if it frosts while that plant is blooming, it's going to not kill the plant. It just takes that flower and doesn't allow it to fruit. Whereas late blooming, we have certain varieties. There's certain varieties of apples that bloom later than others. You want that one. There's certain varieties of apricots that bloom later than others. That's the one you want. And so those are plants that will come out of that dormancy and take off. So perennials come back every year. Annuals just live for 1 year and they're done. So, and it gets kind of tricky for folks. Another one that a lot of folks make mistakes with, these are big in Southern California, your succulents. So succulents there's a huge family of plants. So your grandparents grew hens and chick. That's probably the oldest variety that we have, but we'll sell, I don't know, 50 varieties here at any given time. The ones we focus in on are perennials, ones that grow here at higher elevation. But so many folks bring their collection from Southern California or that more tropical climates, and then they grow great during the season, but then come winter, they just get vaporized. They turn black, mushy. They just fall over and they die. The Phoenix folks, they bring their cacti out. Or folks in the Midwest, I'm moving to Arizona. I want a saguaro. I'm gonna have a cactus garden. Well, not up here. You're not gonna have very many because there's not many that grow outdoors here. We grow pine trees at this elevation. The true collections of cacti, they're going to start at Black Canyon City and lower, where it's really hot. You can actually see the line as you come up I-17. You can see the line where, oops, too cold. Saguaros no longer grow at this level and beyond. We're at that level and beyond. We're up there. So they're just not going to grow here. But if you were to plant it, it would do fantastic until January. Then it's going to get cold and just die. It's going to turn black, get mushy, fall over, get wilty, and just not come back. So that's the difference. Perennials come back year after year, but they need a rest period. Annuals just bloom their heads off. They're just fantastic, and then they're done. They can't do this anymore, and they have no antifreeze in them. So that's what's happening. Right now, if you want to maximize the growth, fertilize. Feed your plants of spring. So spring bloomers, lilacs, forsythia, flowering jasmine, I would say wisteria. These are heavy feeders. They need a rest period and they need a lot of food to produce that new flower for next spring. Fertilize them. All of your evergreens. It's going to keep them greener and it's going to maximize that new candle growth next spring. It's going to be a game changer. I know it seems kind of weird. Fertilizing in spring or in winter. No, it makes a difference. You'll get better growth next spring, especially if you got a new landscape. You just need something bigger. I want that neighbor to be blocked. Like after next spring's growth, fertilize it. Make a big difference. Use the 744 all-purpose plant food. All right, we'll be right back with more after this. Not everyone can grow wildflowers, but we'll make sure you're not one of them.
At Watters, we know which wildflowers sprout, thrive, and bloom with success.
We're wild about wildflowers with many of our own Arizona blends.
Like our Arizona native mix, butterfly and hummingbird mixes, and all are big, bold, and beautiful.
At Watters, we know wildflowers, and winter's a season to spread new seed.
Watters Garden Center, where people who love their flowers wild, they love to shop for seed.
And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain coming in. She comes in with your garden questions. Just what are people talking about? What kind of questions are your neighbors asking? And so we can learn from that. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
Got a fantastic hair thing going on today. You look great on camera. Wow. You actually look great off camera.
I was going to say, I'll let that one go.
Those of you that are watching this via Spotify and Apple, that kind of stuff, you see the video piece. Everyone else gets audio only. We'll describe things by many, many words over the next 10 minutes.
Okay, you will.
What kind of garden question we got? Anything good going on?
Well, there's always stuff going on, even in the dead of winter. There's stuff going on. Our first question is from Stacy. She wants to know, can she put wildflower seed down on top of the snow? And if she can still do that, do you still need to cover it with some mulch or dirt to keep the birds off of it?
Yeah, so that's a good. So we've got a class on that. That's the last Saturday of this month. We'll kind of cover that. But here's the synopsis in a nutshell, 90 seconds or less. So Stacy, yes, it's great to put wildflower seed on top of snow. So the snow will actually take it, and what happens is, as the snow melts, it kind of covers the seed, and then as the ground freezes, it heaves, or it expands, and then it shrinks when it thaws, and then it freezes, so you get this expansion, freeze thaw cycle, and it just swallows up the seed. It's great. Now, the little secret that we teach in the class, we'll show you more hands-on this, but we say buy a bag of Watters Premium Mulch when you come in, and your seed. Put the mulch in a wheelbarrow. Mix the seed inside the mulch. So you're creating your own hydro mulch. And that's the insider tip for keeping birds off. So birds are going to they like flower seeds, especially winter birds. So they're pecking around looking for wildflower seeds. The bugs are all gone. So their protein source or their food source is seed. So you don't want to put out the world's most expensive bird seed out there. So to hide that by blending it in a wheelbarrow or a tarp or something, or your garden bucket, blend your seed in and then spread that. It does two things, keeps birds off. Secondly, it helps you spread it easier. So wildflowers are really tiny. Some of them are so tiny you can't hardly see them. Some are feathery. They want to just float away. They just kind of that's how they're programmed. And so this allows you to spread it more evenly across that garden bed so you get a more consistent pattern. And again, we've got a lot of different styles of wildflower seeds. We make 4 of our own special mixes, blend our own, and then we got a handout. Come ask for it. We'll give it to you. Stacy, come in, visit us. We're lonely here. Come visit the garden center and get your wildflower seed.
So the thing about wildflower seed, you put it down now or between now and March. And sometimes it's hard for gardeners to be patient, but it's not going to pop up next week.
No.
So you've got to be patient and understand that it needs that freeze thaw to go through the winter, but it's not going to really start doing anything until we get some warmer weather to germinate in.
Until it can see the sun. And so this is where a lot of wildflowers like poppies, they need that freeze thaw to scarify or to crack open the hull. They've got this really hard hull. And so it needs to go through this cold. If you were to wait to plant those until, let's say, May,
it's too late.
The poppies wouldn't come up. And so then going back to your point, wildflowers, if you're getting a good mix of wildflowers, you're going to have this wave. They don't all germinate at once. They come up in waves. So you'll see this in the wild. Oh, the poppies are in bloom. Then it's the verbena are in bloom. And then it's the penstemons are in bloom. So they don't all bloom at once. They're coming up at different waves or times. They're giving each other the courtesy of, okay, I'm done. your turn. You can now show off. You get all the butterflies and hummingbirds. Go for it. So yeah, good mix will be, you want a perennial mix, something that comes back and grows even better next year than it did this year.
True. Okay, next question is from Lindsay. We'll see if I can get it out. She purchased some insulation covers to cover some of her roses and things that she thought were maybe a little more sensitive to the winter. Question is, does she leave those on all winter, or is it something you put on, take off?
Yeah, so well, most things like roses don't need that much protection unless she's up in Flagstaff or something. We're not the Midwest. I mean, I know we get 4 seasons, but it's pretty mild. And so the ground just doesn't freeze solid. If you're lower elevation, Prescott Valley, Clarkdale, Cottonwood, Sedona, you don't need that at all. They're fine. So it's a overkill. But if you're a gardener, you want to nurse your plants and take care of them more, it's okay. You can leave them on all winter. They're not going to be, I would say, pull them off by March 1st. Because by then we're still cold, but we're over that bitter cold. And you'll see your roses, especially because you called that one out. You'll see the buds. You'll probably see leaves on at that point, especially if you're protecting them. So I think most things, what most of us can do that don't have any kind of insulative cover or burlaps or some of these things, the best thing we can do, insulate the soil. Keep the soil from freeze and thawing. Like we mentioned for the wildflowers, it heaves. It also heaves your roots out of the ground. So if you put it like a 3-inch layer of mulch, compost, that will keep that ground from freezing, and it insulates that plant probably enough at this altitude, insulates it enough to, and it's so much easier than covering things up with burlaps or bags or zippies or whatever they are. It's more effective. The plants are happier and way easier for you. So anyway, that's.
So I have a question about that. If you're say a rose, and you're putting mulch around it for winter protection, does that need to be pulled back come spring or so to kind of help with air circulation?
So it depends. So you don't want mulch or manures or any kind of compost touching the barky area of a plant, because as it starts to grow and the ground activates, there's some bacterial things that can feed off the sugar underneath the bark. So for roses, I love shredded bark. That's really easy. It's breathable. Cedar tends to repel aphids and bugs. So we use a lot of that. We'll put it over top of the crown of certain plants. And then come spring, usually about March, we pull that back. Just keep it over the roots. And so, no, you should not have organic material touching the plants of the base of your trees, your shrubs. Your berries are really sensitive. They don't want anything touching their canes, which seems counterintuitive because they just come out of the ground like weeds. But they don't like mulch and compost to touch that bark.
Okay. All right. Next question is from John. He wants to plant some fruit trees in his yard.
John, right on.
Wants to know, is it still too early to be planting? If so, when is the optimal time to plant?
Yeah. So John, now is not optimal because your inventory levels are terrible right now. So we've got a few fruit trees, not a lot. That is the first truckload of plants we bring in. So I think it's 2 weeks out right now. So it'll be the end of this month. We'll have hundreds of fruit trees. As soon as you can find them, grab them, because it's a limited inventory. So especially the weird, funky ones. So you've got pluots. We're going to have like 10 of them all season. Grab them right away. Nuts, almonds, walnuts, grab them right away. Don't wait. Don't think about it. Just grab it. And take it home with you, or have us hold it while you think about where to put it. Because literally by the next weekend, they'll be gone. And so if you've got, Macintosh apples, we'll have lots of those. Honeycrisp, the number one seller, we'll have lots of those. Less pressure, but as soon as you can find them, grab them. You can put them in the ground whenever. At that point, our ground does not freeze solid here. So we might get a little skiff of ice, the top layer, but it doesn't freeze. So if those roots are kept from freezing, you're planting it correctly, you're watering it really well, John, go for it. You're in the planting season. I would say ideally, fruit trees or actually deciduous trees, whether it's a blooming redbud, crabapple, robinia, locust, maples, aspens, those plants, if you can plant those before they leaf out,
Mhm.
put them in the ground. So when they wake up from their winter slumber, they kind of go, "Whoa, what just happened here? I've been teleformed into the soil over here. Whoa, what just happened?"
Teleformed.
So they wake up and they're going, "Okay, well, it must be okay. I've wintered
Mhm.
over here. I'll just grow here." And so you have less transplant shock.
Mhm.
It's ideal. If you want any hope of fruit for this coming spring, you need them in before they leaf out. Anyway, we can go into more of that as far as what age, that kind of what variety is best. But your question was, when's the best time? Now, as soon as you can find them, I'd say February, March, perfect time. Great question, John. Okay, Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back after this. As the days get longer and brighter, houseplants can struggle and scorch, but we have the solution.
At Watters, we've organized our houseplants from A to Z for the brightest of sunny locations, many even bloom.
With experts that know plants and how to make them grow.
Shipments of the freshest houseplants in town have just arrived from A to Z and ready for a bright new home.
Watters Garden Center, where people who love bright green houseplants, they love to shop, found in Prescott. Every month, I put together a combination of plants that look fabulous together that month. And so January it's obviously going to be far more skewed towards the evergreen things because they just look good, twiggy. So I've cleaned up my Russian sage. But basically, they're just twigs growing out of the ground. There's not much salvia or autumn sage. They're just twigs out of the ground. Peonies I cut right back to the ground. All I have are little nubs coming out of the gardens and some little eyes starting to show. They don't look that good. They look, peony look fantastic in May, June, July, but not right now. And so this month, Boxwood is the feature. Oh, it just looks so incredible. So Boxwood look the same year round. They have beautiful, rich, glossy green. I especially personally like the winter gem boxwood. And a couple reasons. It's got a thick, waxy leaf, so it makes it very drought hardy or efficient on its water use. Animals don't eat it. It's got a sap that deer, rabbits, they're not going to bother your boxwoods. Boxwoods are these green hedges. Typically, you'll see them in English gardens, like coming up to the front door. They'll line the driveway with them, or around the patio. They look great in containers, around the pool, in glossy, aqua-colored containers. That's where you use those. They're accent pieces, typically a little smaller. We do have 3 or 4 varieties. Some of them get a little bigger. Some of them more pencil-like with a pencil boxwood, but they all grow the same. They're winter evergreen hardy plants. And so they're just super easy to grow. And you don't have to do much with them. There's not a lot of pruning to keep their shapeliness. Maybe give them a haircut, like early spring, and that's all you ever do. They're just so consistent. So that's why I care for them. So I've got them in pots in our back. We have this huge back patio. It's got hot tubs and fire grills and outdoor kitchens and entertainment areas. It's made for bringing family and friends over and just enjoying. Well, it's so big. It's too much hardscape. That is things that don't live in your backyard, like patios and grills and all the things I just said. It needs greenscape, living plants that help it just build it up. And so boxwoods are perfect with that. Another companion that goes with, here's the combo of January. So boxwood, we start with that. That's the feature. It's just easy to grow, winter evergreen plant. Every yard needs at least one. And so it goes with red clusterberry cotoneaster. This is a bigger plant. So boxwoods are typically about knee high. This one's head high. So it's got kind of a bluer foliage instead of bright green, Kelly green. So they go together. Red clusterberry cotoneaster gets a white flower in spring, and then it turns into these clusters of red berries that they have on them right now. And so red clusterberry, I think that's a hardier plant than even red tip photinia, which is the number one seller. Cotoneaster, there's 2 varieties of native cotoneasters just grow wild here. So it's related to those. So they are tough. They don't get the disease. Animals don't eat them. It's just a good companion plant for January. They go with mint julep Juniper, mint julep juniper. Junipers, this is a female, so it doesn't put the pollen on, but it has this great kind of chest high texture. It's a texture thing. You got a robust, easy to grow, takes the sun, the wind, the brutal soils, and just grows. Well, you don't have to do much. Junipers just grow, but it's a good companion. The companions grow in the same kind of soil. They grow together, but they complement. That's a good companion plant. Arizona cypress, number one. I mean, that's the number one selling big upright. I want screening plant. That's it. I try to get folks to plant more pine trees or spruce, but they keep going back to Arizona cypress just because it grows so fast and so thick, and it's truly native. But Arizona cypress has more of that blue silvery color to it, and it's a big plant. So you got a head high, you got a 20-footer, a head high, a chest high, a knee high, and then we have Austrian pine. Pine is it's a long needled pine. So we do pine trees better than anyone else in the country. They just naturally grow. We live in some of the biggest ponderosa pine forests, at least, in the world, right here. This is us. Pines love growing here. Well, Austrians are just like a ponderosa, only they hold their foliage right down to the ground. So in a landscape, it's much prettier, much more shapely. A ponderosa, basically what you're planting, you're going to end up with a trunk in the yard. All the foliage is going to be well above your house, way up there, but you get to enjoy this red bark. That's it. Arizona or Austrian pines, so much better. If I'm landscaping a design for you, I'm going to skew you towards this or spec that in. And then we'll end with, for those kind of shaded areas, yews grow in that eastern, in the shaded north side of the house. You need a conifer, an evergreen that just holds its foliage, but it will take that shade as well, and yew will do that. So a summary: boxwood, cotoneaster, junipers, pines, and Arizona cypress all go together and look fantastic in the month of January. Be right back after this. Hi, Ken here with the finds of the week and our Deodar cedars.
A standalone tree so beautifully shaped it's referred to as the Christmas tree.
Fastest growing of the evergreen trees, used for quick screens, windbreaks, and privacy.
Graceful arches sweep through the landscape in colors of blue to green from the stately tree.
An evergreen lover's dream for fast, thick growth.
Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. For people who love majestic evergreens, they love to shop.
And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain. She comes each week and just shares her garden insight, just what is going on in her gardens and what's top of mind. So you get different gardeners, you get different ideas. Plus, I like sharing microphone time with a pretty gal.
Thank you, dear.
My gal.
Your gal.
You look good.
Thank you.
So what you got? What you thinking about this week?
Well, for us, for gardeners, especially for nursery owners, spring is like Christmas to us. And we just get super excited when we know trucks are starting to roll, things are coming in, and we're expecting our first truck of the season to come in, I think, next week. I never give an exact date because trucking is one of those.
So many times a truck breaks down in Vegas. I don't know why that is sometimes.
Or you get a snowstorm coming in.
True.
So there's a lot of things that can affect it. But we're expecting it next week, which means it could be next week or the week after. But hey, it's coming.
Yeah. 4 different farms. We've got it hitting 4 different farms up and loading different things. So all kinds of stuff. A mixture of things are coming.
Mm-hmm. But the main thing I'm excited about is some of the new fruit trees that we have coming in. So fruit trees and those early spring flowering trees will be coming in. And they've really gotten creative with the fruit trees, which is kind of cool because, you've seen one peach tree.
We've sold thousands.
Which is great. Not knocking peach trees. They do wonderful here. But it's kind of fun, the new ones that they're coming up with. So if you're kind of new into this environment, the what do you always call it? The highlands of Arizona?
Central Highlands.
Central Highlands.
Kind of this higher, come up the hill, Cordes Junction, And you go to the right, you got Sedona, Camp Verde, Cottonwood. To the left, you got Prescott Valley, Dewey, Mayer, Humboldt. You got Chino Valley, Paulden, all this whole area. We're all the same zone. We're all the same plants. We're all the same.
And fruit trees do really well in our environment. Some people are surprised at what will grow here. They can't grow citrus, can't grow avocado trees, but we can grow a lot of things, and
Everything
they do
else.
very well. So peaches, plums, nectarines, cherries, pears. What am I missing? Apricots,
Almonds, pluots, walnuts.
Yeah. So you got a wide variety of things that can grow up here. So, and what I like about some of these newer trees that we're getting in is that they're kind of combination trees. So we're getting, excuse me. So in the apples, I'm sorry, I got
voice is trying to go, isn't it?
We got some really cool. So a lot of your apple, a lot of fruit trees, so we'll start with that. They need a pollinator. Some, sometimes you can put just one variety in and it will pollinate and you're fine. But a lot of times they need a partner, and they need a partner that will pollinate with them. Not every apple pollinates every other apple.
Right.
What I love about the combo trees is they're picking varieties that will pollinate each other.
Complement.
So if you have a smaller yard, or maybe you want an apple tree and a cherry tree, but you don't want just one variety, you can get different varieties off of there. They pollinate each other, so you're saving that space. So that's really fun. So the apples, we do get the 3-in-1s, and get 2 different kinds with the apples. Sometimes they'll be grafted onto that main trunk. You'll get 3 or 4 different varieties grafted on. But we also get one they call a clump. So with that one, you're getting 3 separate tree varieties. It's almost like the aspens when the aspens come in the clump.
Aspen. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're getting 3 different varieties that have their own trunks.
Yeah.
And we get those as well, which is kind of cool.
And they're all made to pollinate each other. And the other beauty of this is, another name they call these are cocktail trees, because there's a blend of different fruits on the same tree. And so the other beauty of this is they get harvested at different times. So you don't have 8 bushels of Honeycrisp. You've got some Golden Delicious, then the Honeycrisp come off, then it's the Galas, then it's the Black Arkansas, or whatever the combo is. Right. So it takes the pressure off of having to deal with all this fruit all at once. It broadens it out.
Definitely. So the trees that we're getting combo, so apples, definitely. We're getting cherries in the 3-in-1 and 4-in-1, and we're getting pears in the 3-in-1, 4-in-1.
That's good.
So that'll be great. I can't remember if we're getting a peach or not. I'm gonna have to look that up. But we are getting what we call the fruit salad combo. So the fruit salad is it may have a peach, a nectarine, and a plum.
So all pitted fruits.
All pitted fruits. Yeah. You're not going to get an apple and a plum, or You
can't graft a peach onto an apple tree. They're different varieties. It'd be like a cancer. It would eject it. But you can, a peach and an apricot, they're the same. They're both pitted fruits. Plums, they kind of cross over. So some you can graft and some you cannot.
And then we're getting a few of the ones that are they genetic? So like a pluot, which is a plum and an apricot.
They've grafted an apricot onto a peach rootstock. So you're doing it that way. Still a graft, but they're playing with rootstocks. What varieties go where and how much. Kind of fun.
So you're kind of getting some crosses on those. So we're getting a few of those in kind of things as well. So last year we introduced kind of that fruit salad tree, and we didn't know it was going to be so popular.
It was big. We ran out. We tried to get more. We ran out again.
So this year we hopefully brought in a lot, but what I would tell people is, do not wait. If this is one you were looking at last year and couldn't get, or you're just thinking, oh, that's kind of a cool idea and I got a spot, don't wait too long, because they do go. And like you said, they're not widgets where you can go produce 20 more. What you get for the season kind of is what you get for the season. That's what the farms have grown. So you're not going to get a lot more.
That's the average age of these trees coming in. Anywhere from 7 to 12 years old. Depending on the size, what bucket size, the trunk. But they were planted,
while ago.
Years ago.
Mhm.
We just now, they're big enough to harvest or shapely enough to bring them in.
Yeah. And I would say our trees, we really, the vendors that we do the farming for us, that we buy from, they do an excellent job. You're not going to find a little skinny whip. It's not going to be some tree that you're going to wait 10 years to get fruit off of. You're going to start getting fruit off of these pretty quickly.
First year.
And they're healthy trees. They're well rooted out. They're not going to be bare root. They're well rooted out in their buckets. So those are important things to think about when you're shopping
and make
trees.
sure the trunk is straight. I mean, trees, if you get an ugly tree, it never gets pretty. It just gets uglier and uglier with age. A beautiful tree up front just gets more and more luscious as it grows. It's the most important thing. You want to make sure you hand pick your trees, even if you're having another landscaper do the work for you. You want to hand pick your tree. Shrubs, less important. Perennial flowers, doesn't even matter.
Yes, it does.
Trees, you need to hand pick those so you get the right ones. And then make sure, if we're talking fruit trees, make sure they're varieties that are high altitude varieties, because you'll see there'll be fruit trees in every box, every grocery store. They'll be everywhere.
True.
Half of them, I would say half of the trees you find in the marketplace, not here at Watters, we cherry pick the ones that are right for here.
No pun intended.
But you'll see desert varieties. You know, that buyer's going, I got 100 stores, ship 50 of those to all my stores. And they don't care if it's for Flagstaff or Payson or Phoenix, or they're just ordering. They just want to make a sale of a tree. It's just not, I'm embarrassed sometimes, but
okay, honey, get off your soapbox.
On my soapbox.
Climb
Sometimes
down.
the gardening, you're not a bad gardener. You were sold the wrong thing.
Don't fall off your soapbox. The other thing I wanted to mention is we're actually getting a nice selection of dwarf nectarines and dwarf peaches. Nice. So in the nectarines, we're getting Arctic Babe and Nectar Babe, which are really
babe in my fruit trees.
And then in peaches, we're getting Garden Gold, Honey Babe, and the Pixie.
Yeah.
So some really nice dwarfs that are coming in. We'll also be getting our early crab apples and red buds and plums, ornamental plums.
Do we get that new flamethrower?
Yes. Which is really a pretty tree. Yeah. So definitely getting the new stuff in. It's a good time to come in and start checking us out.
Spring is right around the corner. The plants are en route. We've actually gotten some trucks already in, so it's kind of exciting time. And you can plant those whenever you're ready. Best to plant them before they wake up, before they leaf out or bloom in spring. You want to get them in the ground. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back.
My living room feels so empty.
Now that the Christmas tree is gone, the house just seems so blah.
Brighten it up with a big, bold, beautiful plant from Watters Garden Center.
Fill that cavernous space with tall tropicals, colossal cactus, and sizable succulents that bring the great outdoors indoors.
Make a gorgeous green space you can enjoy all year, not just for a season.
Unique, exclusive, one-of-a-kind houseplants found only at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. So all week I've been saying I would talk about the 17 best landscape shrubs of spring. And I'm going to dedicate this segment just to that. And I don't have time to go into a lot of detail, but these are kind of the number one sellers, the most popular, the prettiest, easy to grow. They just have a lot going on for them. And a lot of the plants, you'll know what they are, who they are. So these aren't just winter good-looking plants. These are things that are going to be transitioning here quickly as we start getting into after about Valentine's Day, another just month out, five weeks or so. You'll see daffodils starting to bloom. You'll see forsythia starting to crack. The winter jasmine will be in full glorious bloom. The first leading indicators, those plants will start to bloom. These are going to be some of those. And so I'll just start out with number one, pretty much in the Midwest. You all made this one famous, barberry. Boy, it's a little plant, not knee high. Typically, there's a lot of models. I probably have a dozen different varieties that we sell here at the garden center. But barberry is easy to grow, takes our sun, takes our wind, takes our alkaline soil, always has bright, shiny foliage, and it's got a flower to it, although not really significant. It's a pollinator. The bees will love it. The butterflies will love it. But you're planting it for the foliage, how it looks, that driveway that's got that roundabout driveway, and you got that big mound in the middle. This really looks good, and it'll take that heat and that wind that comes off that asphalt really, really well. It goes with Rose of Sharon. You folks from the more tropical climates, California's, Tucson's, Phoenix, Hawaii, you love your hibiscus, that great big old hibiscus with the flower the size of your hand. Well, that doesn't grow here, but Rose of Sharon does. It's also a hibiscus. The botanical name is hibiscus, but Rose of Sharon is the common name. It's got a bit smaller flower, so maybe it's the size of a baseball instead of your hand. So it's got a big flower, but it makes up for it in sheer quantity. The Rose of Sharon will have literally hundreds of flowers on this plant, whereas a traditional tropical hibiscus might have a dozen. So I've literally seen Rose of Sharon's fall over because the weight of all the flowers was just so great that it had to be staked back up. This is a personal experience. It's a great plant for here. And it goes down to, I think, minus 40 degrees, some crazy cold. We will never see. Rose of Sharon's a great, if you want hibiscus, that's the one you want. It really grows well. Okay, bluebeard shrub or Coreopteris or false spirea. It has a lot of different names, but bluebeard, it's about a hip-high plant, kind of mounding. The beauty that it has is fast green growth and then blue flowers, and it's super low maintenance. It's the same color as Russian sage. That's probably the number one seller here. It can be kind of weedy, gets out of control sometimes. This has the same flower, but almost no pruning care. It always comes back next spring looking good. You don't have to cut it back to the ground to start over again. Just easy to care for and a true pollinator. Your butterflies are going to love you for having a bluebeard shrub out there. Butterfly bush, that's another one. So we grow butterfly bush better than anywhere else in the country. And we're on the migratory path for a lot of monarchs. A lot of butterflies use this part of the state as a highway. And they're using your butterfly bush as a jump off point, kind of a recharge as they start going up. The beauty is your grandparents grew butterfly bush that were just grossly oversized. I mean, come on, who needs a 12-foot shrub out there against the garden shed? It just overtakes everything. You had to prune it back, lots of maintenance. It was pretty from a distance. Otherwise, use it as a small shade tree. Well, the newer varieties coming out, there's brighter colors and there's dwarf varieties. So we've got some that are ground cover. Same pinnacle flower on it, same butterfly kind of flowers, but now they're shorter. So now you don't have all this maintenance issues that your grandparents have. They're so easy. Now you can plant them right next to that back patio or in a container, and they just look great and they bloom. Nothing blooms as long as a butterfly bush. And actually butterflies will be attracted to it. It's an amazing little plant. Great plant for here. Doesn't have all the disease, the spotting, that kind of stuff that other parts of the country have. Deer grass. I don't think grass gets enough play. But deer grass, and really there's two native ones, deer grass or Miscanthus, and then also bear grass. Those two grow out and about. You'll just see them. Deer grass has this pink plume to it in the summer and fall. It's quite striking, quite pretty. And deer tend to leave it alone. So the animals, if you're right out there with javelina roaming around, things are eating your landscape, that's a good one for you. But grasses, one that's blooming right now in the greenhouses. It's amazing. If you just need to get out and get some fresh air, and you want to see some of the leading plants starting to come in. So our first big fruit tree truck's coming, let's see, in 2 weeks, week and a half. So it's en route. So it's being packed now. So we're starting that first harvest. But Ice Angel Camellia, that's one that came in just before Christmas. And it's an evergreen. It's a winter blooming evergreen shrub, grows about hip high, kind of wide, more shaded areas. It's kind of the east to north side of trees, houses, shrub, under patios, in containers. That's where it thrives. But it's got a camellia flower. You Californians, you love your camellias. Well, this one actually grows here and takes the cold, whereas most camellia are tropical. They're winter wimps. They're going to freeze out, die, and not come back. Not Ice Angel, thus the name, Ice Angel Camellia. It's magical. It's got a flower about the size of a rose of Sharon, about the size of a baseball, maybe a little bit smaller than that. But boy, it's a pretty plant. One that I use a lot, Gilded Edge Silverberry. Silverberry is a native. In fact, I use this one instead of red tip Photinia, the number one seller, red tip. I put my kids through college with red tip Photinia, but I would never have that plant in my yard. It's disease prone. It's got to maintain it like crazy. It's always got powdery mildew, deer eat on it, but not silverberry. Silverberry has no animal issues. Gets up well above head height, as big as you can hold your hands out. It's that big, thick evergreen, and it's a native. So get it up to size. You never have to water it again. It's truly a native plant. Great plant for here. Spirea and sumac. Those two. I'm going to try to up the speed here because I'm going to run out of time. Trying to get all 17. Come in and ask for the list. I'll give it to you. Here you go. It's an article I wrote, I don't know, a while back, and you'll have the whole list, or peruse some others. Growlow sumac, another native. It grows wild here. It's a companion to silverberry. Salvia or heat wave salvia or autumn sage is another name. That one, or Salvia gregii is another name. It's got several. It's a number one seller. It outsells Russian sage. Russian sage has this blue spiky flower to it, about hip high. This one's a step down, gets about just above knee high or so, but it's got red flowers. And actually, it's got red, pink, purple, and I think an apricot color this year. Got a new color introduction. But hummingbirds just love salvia. They love autumn sage salvia. It's every yard needs at least 3. Pick a color because it just attracts. It's just easy to care for. It takes sun, takes wind. It's just a great plant for it's just a great one. Nandina, or heavenly bamboo, is what it's known on the West Coast. Heavenly bamboo is the common name, but Nandina is what the rest of the country calls it. Nandina is an evergreen plant, very soft. It has a bamboo kind of look to it. It's not bamboo. It's not invasive. Doesn't take over. I mean, dogs and small children are not going to be lost in Nandina. It's a good, strong evergreen plant, and animals don't bother it. So deer, rabbit, antelope, jackrabbits, they're not going to bother Nandina. Looks good in containers, looks good out in the yard, just flexible, super hardy. It looks delicate, but it's super robust, tough. So I think every yard needs a Nandina. And then, of course, yucca and lilacs. We'll leave it with those two. Lilacs, you can grow better lilacs here. They'll be a little shorter, but you won't have all the disease spotting issues that the Midwest has. We just grow them. They love this bright, high altitude. And then yuccas, lots of varieties of yuccas, and they all do well here. So grow some. So that's the 17 best landscape shrubs for northern Arizona. Be back with more right after this.
Not everyone can grow wildflowers, but we'll make sure you're not one of them.
At Watters, we know which wildflowers sprout, thrive, and bloom with success.
We're wild about wildflowers with many of our own Arizona blends.
Like our Arizona native mix, butterfly and hummingbird mixes, and all are big, bold, and beautiful.
At Watters, we know wildflowers, and winter's a season to spread new seed.
Watters Garden Center, where people who love their flowers wild, they love to shop for seed.
So we are trying to show off crops you just can't find anywhere but directly from the farm. And so this week we dropped an online exclusive coming right from the greenhouse, right to your door, air plants. Air plants they grow as up in the trees. They're kind of like a variation of an orchid, and they're easy to find, boring ones. I mean, it's easy to find, just plain Jane, but it's hard to find the exotic, colorful, blooming gift types. We found some with choyas. We put air plants and put them in there. So it's really Southwestern cool. Globes in a gift basket. So you could gift them to someone if you wanted, a great realtor, thank you gift, or a mom across the country. Again, it's shipping nationwide for $7.95. But air plants we've curated a selection of them and said, wow, no one has seen these. These are cool. When we get excited, when plant nerds get excited about plants, I mean, we've seen everything. In fact, it can be kind of boring, but to see something new, exciting, that's fun. So take a look at those. If an air plant, these are indoor plants. So you don't want them outdoors, it freeze, but they make fantastic, fun, easy to grow houseplants or office plants or just bedroom plants, or I've got a new dorm room plants. They're fun. So take a look at those. WattersGardenCenter.com. Hit the shop button. And there's 2 buttons when you hit shop. There's in-store, then there's online exclusive. So they got to ship to you. And around the very front of that online exclusive is air plants. And then I have to thank, oh my gosh, the team. I mean, we just leapfrogged from 10,000 Facebook followers to 14 like that. Boom. And so it's because the team are putting together some super fun videos. I mean, I'm so proud of them. So my daughter Mackenzie had an unwrapping party with an air plant. She bought a gift one, had it shipped directly. You could see what it's all about. But even more so, they had dancing houseplants. It's hilarious. You crack up just watching it. We're trying to post those videos online just for fun. We're not selling anything. We're just kind of showing fun. Life is stressful enough. We just need some, not comic relief. That's not too, I don't know, just something uplifting. That's what we're trying to do. So on LinkedIn, we have a lunchtime special because we know you're checking your phone when you go on your lunch break. We just have something fun like that on there. On our Facebook page, same thing. It's trending. Instagram Reels, that we just passed 8,000 followers on Instagram. That's huge. Thank you for following us. Most of those are in store of the staff or in my backyard. They're local. They're fun gardening stuff for us to enjoy with each other. So follow us. We're now trying, because they're so fun, I think they're going to track on TikTok. I don't know what you think about that. It doesn't matter. I've got to be where eyeballs are. And so we're going to try to see what's going to happen. Already that same video got like some 800 views or some crazy thing I can hardly track. But if you're not on social media, ignore what I just said. But if you are and you want some fun, uplifting, kind of, follow us. Watters Garden Center. You can't miss us. We're on all the platforms. Throughout the week, Lisa and I camp out here at Watters Garden Center, and we love talking to fans of the show.
Hi, Lisa with the plants of the week and our Austrian pine.
We have instantaneous trees just in and ready for planting.
This pine has the same long needles as our ponderosa pine without all the problems, and these trees are really big and bold.
This is the fastest growing of the pines, and lots of sizes to choose from.
Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. For people who love big, bold pines, they love to shop.
For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit WattersGardenCenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.